Hello and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mike, and today we're going to be talking about a really hot topic that's really going on right now. Everyone's talking about two top guys, and I will cover both of them, give my opinion on who I think is the fighter of the year, and I'm also going to float out two dark horse picks who I think people are kind of overlooking because they aren't champions, they aren't former champions, so people don't really think about them yet, but they've had really good years, and I think they're worth considering. So first, we're going to start with the two guys that everyone's talking about, right? We have Ilia Topuria because he just knocked out Max Holloway for the first time. Max has never been knocked out, and Ilia said he would do it, and he did do it. And then he also knocked out Alex Volkanovski to win the belt, and that was also a crazy, really impressive performance. And you got to give the guy credit because not only did he come out, beat the champion, who was one of the pound-for-pound best, and knock him out, but then he came in on the same year and also knocked out Max Holloway, who had a crazy performance against Gaethje in UFC 300 and who looked amazing. Ilia came out and knocked Max out, and you got to give him credit for that because Max has never been knocked out. He's notoriously durable, so that was super impressive. The other candidate everybody's talking about is Alex Pereira. In my opinion, he's currently the UFC's biggest star with Conor McGregor not really in the picture, and he has the wins over Jamal Hill, Jiri Prochazka, Khalil Roundtree, and similar to Topuria, he did beat two former champions. He beat Jamal Hill, who is the light heavyweight champion, and he beat Jiri Prochazka, who was also the light heavyweight champion. And then he also beat Khalil Roundtree in a fight that was very competitive, even though people didn't expect it to be, and it was an awesome fight. Now, I can understand giving him a possible, I can understand making him your pick because he did beat these guys and he beat them so impressively. Also, he came out, knocked out Hill relatively quickly and in a really cool way right after, the foul. And then he tells the ref, nah, chill, give me a second, and just knocks Hill right out. Then he knocks out Jiri in super impressive fashion. And then he comes out, has a really good competitive fight against Khalil and is able to finish him as well. So you do have to give him credit there. But overall, looking at the two of them, considering the level of the competition they beat and how they did it, I do have to give it to Ilia Topuria because Max and Volk have long careers and really impressive ones where they fought the best of the best. They beat the best of the best. And then Topuria came out, knocked out Max, who was never knocked out, and knocked out Volk, who was only ever knocked out by Islam Makhachev at 155. Outside of that, never got finished. So, little torn, but I do think you have to give it to Topuria. I just give the competition edge to him. I'm more impressed by knocking out Max and knocking out Volk than I am about knocking out Hill and Jiri and Khalil. Those are all really good fighters too, but I just don't think it's the same level. Hill, relatively new to the top of the division. Jiri, relatively new to the top of the division. Khalil, relatively new to the top of the division, and he only was ranked like number 8 or something before that fight. So, yeah, if we're going to go with just those two guys, I will pick Topuria. I think Ilia Topuria is the rightful fighter of the year for what he's done. But now I want to talk about my two dark horse picks because I think they're fun. So the first one, Diego Lopes. Why isn't anyone talking about him? Came out against Sadiq Youssef, finished him early. Came out, fought Dan Ige. He was supposed to originally fight Ortega. Ige came in on like 30 minutes short notice, literally just came in and fought him. And that's a switch up. It's tough for Ige, but it's tough for Lopes too. And Lopes still came out there and won that fight. And then he came out, fought Ortega, and beat him as well in a pretty impressive fashion. So maybe not on the caliber of Alex Pereira and Topuria, but I think he's close. And if we're going to put away the champions, if we're going to talk about the fighter of the year who's not a champ, I think Lopes is at the top of the list. And then there's one other guy who I think is worth mentioning and who I might even put above Lopes or just about even, Renato Money Moicano. How can you not talk about the guy? This year he didn't finish, but he beat Drew Dober. He finished Jalen Turner. And then he came in against Benoit Saint-Denis as a huge underdog, completely brutalized him in the first round with ground and pound, beat him in his own game in the grappling, beat him early, which is usually where BSD is best, and then got him out of there. So I think that Moicano is for sure up there fight of the year. I have him competitive with Topuria and Pereira. And again, if we're going to put away champs, I think the fighter of the year who is not a champion is Renato Moicano. That's my pick. But if we're going to talk about overall fighter of the year, I will agree with most. I do think it's Ilia Topuria because of those two really, really impressive knockouts. And anyone who watches my stuff knows how much I love Max. So that really hurt to watch, but it was really impressive. Thank you guys for tuning in, and peace out. See you next time.